Ricky Gervais has become a master at navigating the tricky waters of modern comedy. With his sharp wit and unapologetic approach, he dives into topics that many steer clear of, especially in today's world, where woke culture reigns supreme. But what is it about Gervais that resonates with so many? Well, it all comes down to his fearless attitude and relentless pursuit of truth, often cloaked in humor. Let's take a closer look at how Gervais dismantles the woke narrative with laughter.
And I think that's the important thing, because I've often said that people get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily the same thing. You can make jokes about any subject. It depends what the joke is.
Yeah.
There's no rules. You can't joke about this. You can.
You should be able to.
You just can.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the heart of Gervais' comedy is his ability to tackle sensitive subjects head-on. He once said, "When people say they're offended, it's just because you're offended. It doesn't mean you're right." This encapsulates the essence of his perspective on offense. In Gervais' world, feelings are personal, and he's not here to cater to everyone's sensitivities. He believes that if you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. His approach is rooted in irony and tackling taboos, which is what makes his comedy so compelling. It's not about malice. It's about engaging in real conversations, even if they make some uncomfortable.
I do like that, because I do like confronting that, because I think it takes the audience to a place it hasn't been before. And it can be a mutual backslapping, fest, fine, but don't televise it, because I'm not doing it for the 200 egos in the room. I'm doing it for the 200 million people watching around who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires,
and who don't care about it.
The above-mentioned context is drawn from a comedic skit, especially surrounding the aspect of speaking freely. Gervais is of the opinion that it is a crime not to make a joke on all the bad things, because it helps in making the statement that humor has its liberating role in serious issues. He tends to ridicule the existing social infrastructure, and his cowardly antics are always in contention with the people who wish to walk on eggs when it comes to controversial topics. For very many people, especially with the current era, such an attitude towards political correctness is quite welcome, because it is quite often these days that there are all means that help cut down on free speech. He jokingly mocks his naysayers, thus, "Chill, I am going to be decent today. I have reformed." Bruce Jenner obviously not to that extent. Such an intelligent barb helps to project his versatile nature, but in this instance illustrates the foolhardiness of some of the extremes people exhibit in the culture embrace. While most people would react in anger at such comments, Gervais expects them to let out a chuckle instead by calling attention back to her and not the group's agitation.
And now the old-fashioned, they go, "Oh, they want to use our toilets." Why shouldn't they use your toilets? For ladies. They are ladies. Look at their pronouns.
Gervais is also not afraid to touch on the self-serving politics of the day as he perceives it. He notes that because these figures often preach the gospel of sacrifice and equality, it becomes hard to imagine that most of them do not live in such inequality, doing different things from the ordinary people leading everyday lives. This is especially true for the quote, 40% of all British prime ministers attended a school by the name of Eton. This particular informed commoner's school costs $63,000 for a year. This captures the disparity of the systems in place, and he does it so well that one feels amused yet deep in thought. As Gervais rightly observes, it is by no means restricted to the United Kingdom, but an ailment present all over the Western Hemisphere. He says how candidates for office are masterful in speaking one way to win elections, then performing a flawless flip when they get into office. That kind of cynicism is recognizable to a great many, and Gervais manages to put it across in a most amusing and interesting manner.
Cultural appropriation, the latest no-no. Now, again, in my day, it was considered a good thing to swap ideas with other cultures, with other nations, to share things with other races, to assimilate.
Gervais has also pointed out how he faces problems with the very idea of cultural appropriation. He gives examples of artists who had been criticized for borrowing from other societies and believed that such cross-culturalism was looked at as a healthy exchange. In his words, Gervais says, "Do you know what is called cultural appropriation? In my days, it was much appreciated to give and take concepts from other cultures to make some new art." He feels that the way it has come to be interpreted, cultural exchange in most cases is too negative and repressive, thereby hampering creativity and straining the relationships. He ridicules the ridiculousness of these ideas when he talks about how Gwen Stefani was criticized for wearing dreadlocks, which he argues are a hairstyle that has existed far before many other cultures. Gervais's point of view, quite the opposite, encourages the audience to question the limits of cultural exchange, which very often is appreciated in theory, but is helpful in practice only to the extent of labeling.
To assimilate. It was the opposite of racist. Now it's racist. Gwen Stefani got in trouble in her last video because she had her blonde hair in dreadlocks. People go, no, black people invented dreadlocks, you can't have them, you're white, that's racist. Jamie Oliver got in trouble when he put out authentic jerk chicken recipe. People go, no, black people invented that, you can't have it, you're white, that's racist. Now, black people, they use the N-word, don't they? We invented that. That's the one, isn't it? That's the one.
But it's not just about tearing down problematic ideas. Gervais also emphasizes the importance of laughter in dealing with tough subjects. He highlights how people seem to forget that humor can exist in the darkest of places. Gervais points out that many in the comedy world seem to have forgotten this essential truth. He states, "These people are virtue signaling. They're trying to bring people down to raise their own status." By exposing this hypocrisy, he encourages a more open dialogue where everyone can share a laugh, regardless of their background.
You probably know me as the creator of The Office. No, you don't, do you?
You think Steve Carell did it all? Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he, Steve Carell?
He's amazing as the bumbling office manager.
Where does he get his ideas from?
Let's pay him hundreds of millions of dollars and put him in every movie. If you can't be bothered to go to the cinema to see Steve in action.
In the end, Gervais' comedy serves as a reminder that laughter can be a unifying force. He has a knack for pointing out the ridiculousness of the world around us, exposing the flaws in modern thinking, while also bringing people together through humor. He embraces the complexity of being human, where not everything is black and white, and where the line between right and wrong can often be blurred.
That's it. Good night. Thank you. Please donate to Australia. Have a great time. Get drunk. Take your drugs.
So, what can we take away from Ricky Gervais's brand of comedy? It's about more than just laughs. It's about challenging norms, embracing free speech, and understanding that humor can bridge divides. In a world that can often feel divided, Gervais reminds us that laughter is a universal language. And that's a wrap on how Ricky Gervais fearlessly takes on woke culture, blending bold truths with biting humor. Love him or hate him, there's no denying his talent for making us think while we laugh. In a world that's often divided, Gervais reminds us that comedy can be a powerful way to bridge those gaps, inviting us to question, laugh, and not take ourselves too seriously. If you enjoyed this dive into Gervais' fearless comedy, hit the like button, share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Keep questioning, keep laughing, and we'll see you in the next one.